You're listening to Empyrion's podcast, Benefits and Beyond. This podcast is a collaborative production involving both artificial intelligence and human creators, blending machine-generated and human-curated content.
Welcome to the deep dive. There's just so much pressure these days on organizations, isn't there, to deliver employee benefits that really, truly matter.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about checking a box anymore.
Exactly. And employee expectations, they seem to be evolving faster than ever. It feels incredibly challenging for businesses just to keep pace.
It really is. I mean, employees today, they're looking for solutions that genuinely connect with their own lives. Their specific needs, which are always shifting.
That's such a critical point. But okay, here's where things get interesting, strategically speaking. Forward-thinking organizations, they're not just guessing anymore. They're really leaning into data-driven insights to, revolutionize their benefit strategies.
Revolutionize is the right word.
Think of it like a shortcut, almost. A way to create those more impactful employee experiences and, maybe most importantly for the business, show some actual measurable value.
Yeah, and what's really insightful, I think, is that it's not just about ditching intuition entirely.
Right.
Data gives you that sort of empirical clarity. The hard evidence needed to make strategic choices that genuinely lift employees up.
Which in turn helps the whole organization perform better.
Exactly. Better performance, better engagement.
So our mission today for this deep dive is really to uncover the most important nuggets of knowledge here. How are these data-driven insights fundamentally changing benefits strategy?
Okay.
We want to give you, the listener, a really solid but still accessible understanding of this pretty crucial shift.
Makes sense.
And to do that, we're going to dig into 5 specific transformative ways data is genuinely changing the game for benefits, moving away from guesswork.
And towards precision.
Yeah,
it's a complete paradigm shift, really. From just reacting to problems.
Right, putting out fires.
To proactively thinking about well-being. And moving from these generalized offerings to really precise, personalized support.
Indeed. Okay, let's jump right into the first big area where data is reshaping benefits. Identifying those often hidden gaps between what employees need and what companies are currently offering.
Yeah, this sounds obvious, but it's fundamental.
It seems obvious, right?
Yeah.
But how often do companies really know what their people actually need versus, what they just assume they need?
Well, that raises the core question, doesn't it? Are we providing benefits that are actually valued and utilized? What advanced analytics lets organizations do is kind of overlay different data points. So you might combine, say, traditional enrollment numbers with sentiment from employee surveys.
Okay.
Or you could link who's taking up certain benefits with big employee life cycle events, like new hires coming in or people returning from leave.
Okay, connecting the dots.
Exactly. It gets you beyond just surface-level trends. It helps pinpoint the why behind any disconnects, revealing those really nuanced gaps.
We saw a really compelling example of this in the sources. There was one organization. They offered pretty robust mental health resources, right?
Yep, I remember that one.
But they noticed engagement among their younger employees was, significantly lower than expected. That's a huge disconnect. You offer something good, but it's not landing.
And what's fascinating there is how they used that specific data point. They didn't just note the low engagement and, move on.
What did they do?
They actually adjusted their communication strategy. They tailored messages, used different channels, specifically targeting those younger demographic segments.
And the result?
A marked increase in engagement. Pretty quickly, too, within a single enrollment cycle.
Wow.
And this ties into broader trends as well. I mean, research suggests almost half of employees feel kind of disconnected from their organizations.
That's a worrying number.
It is. So targeted benefits and messaging,
Yeah.
really informed by this kind of specific data, can directly help bridge that critical gap.
That is a powerful transformation, really understanding what people actually need. Okay, but knowing what's needed. That's only half the battle, right? Which brings us very naturally to our next key area, improving benefits utilization through targeted interventions. Because, let's be honest, a great benefit is only great if people actually use it.
Precisely. And this is where something like behavioral analytics really comes into play.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So you're tracking not just who enrolls, but how employees are interacting with the benefits platforms. Are they engaging with the communications? How long does it typically take them to engage with certain programs?
So looking at the how and when, not just the if.
Exactly. This lets organizations pinpoint specific friction points,
Yep.
places where people might be getting stuck or dropping off.
And then
Then they can take strategic, data-informed action to optimize usage, make it easier, clearer, more relevant.
we saw an example of this too, didn't we? With a financial wellness benefit.
Yeah, the uptake was quite low.
Right. Less than 30% of eligible employees had enrolled, even though there were clear signs people wanted or needed financial support. So what happened when they applied data there?
Well, through more targeted messaging, driven by demographic insights and behavioral segmentation, and also getting smarter about the timing of communications.
Like when it would be most relevant.
Exactly. Maybe pushing info during tax season or just before major holidays when finances are top of mind. The result was that utilization more than doubled.
Doubled. That's significant.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it shows it's not just about blasting out more emails. It's about sending the right message to the right people at the right time, all guided by the data.
So the actionable takeaway seems pretty clear there.
Use the data to find those underused benefits, then personalize the communications to show individuals how that benefit connects directly to their lives.
That personalization piece, it feels like the recurring theme here. It's key.
It really is.
Moving from those broad strokes to focusing on the individual, which takes us straight into our third major shift, driving personalization at scale. Our sources were highlighting how employees now basically expect their benefits experience to feel as smooth and personalized as, say, their favorite consumer apps.
That's the new baseline expectation, yeah.
And data is what's making that actually possible without just piling on a huge administrative burden.
Absolutely. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about meeting employees exactly where they are, in their specific life journeys.
How does that work in practice?
Well, by analyzing demographics, sure, but also looking at stated preferences from surveys, maybe, and even inferring behaviors from how they interact with existing benefits.
Okay.
Employers can start offering really tailored benefit recommendations, things that genuinely support each person's unique life stage and priorities. A new parent versus someone nearing retirement, for instance. Very different needs.
So beyond just making people happier, what's the sort of killer strategic argument you've seen for why personalization specifically drives things like loyalty or retention?
We saw a stat, I think, that something like 72% of employees said personalized benefits would actually increase their loyalty.
So that's a critical finding
Yeah.
because it shifts benefits from being just a nice-to-have perk.
To becoming a really foundational pillar for keeping your talent and keeping them engaged.
It sends a signal.
It signals that the organization actually understands them, values them as individuals. And in today's competitive talent market, that's pretty much indispensable.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that feeling.
Exactly. Which actually leads us quite nicely into our fourth vital area, measuring ROI and business impact.
Ah, yes, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak.
Because at the end of the day, benefits leaders have to be able to demonstrate the tangible value of their programs, show the business impact.
So how does HR make that leap? From being seen sometimes as a cost center to being a true strategic business partner.
Well, with the right data, HR teams can really track adoption trends, yes, but then crucially, correlate benefits usage with core business outcomes.
Like what?
Like employee engagement scores, retention rates, maybe even productivity metrics in some cases.
Okay, so drawing direct lines.
Drawing direct lines. This uncovers clear opportunities for optimization, sure, but it also allows for those proactive adjustments. And this is where things like real-time HR analytics dashboards become absolutely essential tools.
Indispensable, yeah.
They provide that empirical evidence, the proof needed to justify significant investments in benefits and also to refine the overarching strategies. I mean, consider this. We know companies with high employee engagement see, on average, something like 21% greater profitability.
That's a huge difference.
It is.
Yeah.
So when you can connect your benefits strategy through data analysis to improved engagement and then link that engagement to profitability, well, that becomes an incredibly powerful proof point.
Proof for data-informed HR leadership.
Precisely. It's about leveraging strategic HR analytics to forge that direct link between the benefits investment and quantifiable business outcomes. It really turns HR into a clear value driver for the organization.
That's a really significant shift in perception and in impact. Okay, which brings us to our fifth and final transformative way data is changing benefits. Enabling agile, continuous improvement.
Yes, because it's not a one-and-done thing, is it?
Definitely not. A successful benefits strategy isn't just launched once a year. It feels much more dynamic now.
It has to be. It's inherently an ongoing adaptive effort. With robust data streams coming in, employers can stay incredibly responsive
Responsive to what specifically?
to shifts in the workforce demographics, to the evolving needs of their people, changing organizational goals, all of it. This continuous feedback loop allows for a truly dynamic strategy rather than just that static annual review we used to see.
So by building these continuous feedback loops right into their benefits strategy,
Yeah,
HR teams can actually adjust offerings or refine the messaging, maybe even optimize the enrollment experience almost in real time.
exactly. Which ensures everything stays relevant, stays inclusive, and stays aligned with the business.
And the sort of future forward aspect of this is particularly compelling, I thought.
You mean the predictive side?
Yeah, exactly. Tell us about that.
Well, what's really insightful here is that some organizations are already using predictive analytics. So they're essentially using historical data patterns to try and forecast future trends and needs.
Like what sort of needs?
Things like anticipating a rising demand for, say, mental health resources in a particular segment of the workforce, or maybe specific types of childcare support based on demographic shifts.
So they can get ahead of the curve.
Precisely. It allows them to proactively allocate resources, maybe adjust plan designs, to meet those anticipated needs before they become critical gaps, instead of just reacting once a crisis or a major need is already obvious.
That really does shift the whole philosophy, doesn't it?
It fundamentally shifts it from reactive problem solving to truly proactive well-being.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for you, our listener? I think the overarching message is pretty clear.
Yeah, data is not just for reporting anymore.
No, it's no longer just a performance metric. It's become a really powerful strategic advantage. It empowers leaders with these precise insights.
It deeply supports employees with offerings that are actually relevant to them.
And ultimately, it transforms organizational outcomes for the better. It touches everything.
It absolutely reinforces that point. A successful benefit strategy isn't some singular event. It's not a project with an end date.
Right.
It's an ongoing, agile process. And it's continuously refined by that rich, actionable data. It's all about constant evolution and optimization.
Well said. And as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider this final thought, something to mull over. Given the power we just talked about, especially with predictive analytics forecasting needs like mental health resources, how might thinking proactively with data shift the entire philosophy of benefits, moving it away from just reactive problem solving towards, well, proactive well-being, either in your own organization or maybe in organizations you interact with?
It's a great question to leave people with. How does that proactive stance change everything?
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and follow us on LinkedIn. We'll be back with more great content in our next episode.